Hey man, it's Phil X, and you're watching Guitar Tales with Dave Cohen. And Guitar Tales, guitar tales. Like, what else do you need, right? Guitar. We're geeks, nerds, gear, inspirations, positive vibes. Look out.
I still love that bumper from the great Phil X. And, it really brings Scott and I a lot of joy and pride that he's a friend of the show. He's either a 2 or 3-time guest. Touring with Bon Jovi in 2026, his main guitar player, like, wow. And he's promoting our show. We're very grateful for that. We are almost as grateful, if not just as grateful, to our wonderful sponsors. Let's start off with Confections of a Rock Star in Asbury Park. The great Confections of a Rock Star. We've been there before. We love it. Food is fabulous. Bring your pooch, because in addition to the people food, I say this every week, not just cupcakes, but macaroons too, but there you go, pupcakes. And then after you have dessert, after Alice Cooper shows up and tells you how great this place is, there he is, you can have a cheeseburger at the very same location. Check it out. Little Andy's, special, next level, hamburgers, cheeseburgers. That dude's loving them, isn't he? Cheesy fries with the works. Right in the same location. And the cool thing is, if you don't know Asbury Park, the food scene there is out of control. It's so good. So many fabulous restaurants. Go there, check it out, both of those places. And we're really grateful on the show to have those two sponsors. Now, before we get our fabulous guest on, and Scott and I took deep dives into his amazing, amazing YouTube presence, let's bring the greatest publicist, co-host, editor, guitar player, and human being in the world.
And
Scott.
hairless.
Me too.
We're talking about our
Let's show off our lack of
this is
hair.
the hair follicle challenge episode of Guitar
It
Tales
is.
tonight,
It
ladies
is.
and gentlemen.
And I'm not misleading anyone. There ain't nothing going on under here, cognitively or follicularly.
And tonight's guitar is the customized by a fella named Sal Tyne. So I called this guitar the Saltine.
Boy, I like that.
It's a custom Ibanez, which is this guitar you hear in all the incidental music for the commercials that I recorded for us.
I love that.
So that's that squealy, noisy thing back there.
And behind me on my blank wall is an old quart and a piece of the Tommy album, because I have to decorate my wall.
I know. I have a lot of crap down. I'm down in my little Studio 33. I got my curtain, matrix curtain going on here. I got the drum set, the old 1977 Tamas. And, that on the subject of the old Tamas, I found this old picture the other day of a very young me and my mom and my sister and my brother. There's the Tama set.
Oh, look at that.
Years ago when I first got it. And I think that's the dentist that used to work for my dad. I'm not sure why he's in the picture. But nevertheless, there's Dr.
I love that
Dr.
picture.
Ito.
That's a great picture.
The 77 Tamas. So they're still in operation today.
I love it. I love it.
I got a lot more simple because our guest tonight is a drummer.
Yeah. So I'm gonna get the name right. Johnny Fiacconi. I think I got it right.
You got it. Welcome.
I love his videos. I just know. I said to my girlfriend tonight, I just know he's a nice guy. I just
you have
know
a girlfriend? I didn't know about this.
Oh yeah. Yes, you do.
Yes, I did.
Yes.
Should we bring Johnny and get the show started?
We should.
All right, John. Here he comes. There he is.
Hey guys, how you doing?
We'll even put him in the big screen. How about that? Give him the guest of honor.
All right.
There we go. There we go.
I'm honored to be surrounded by members of the community.
Yes.
Yeah. All right. Hold on. Here we go.
There's literally nothing worse than a bad wig, right?
Yeah. Hey. There we go. I just threw my hat.
Nobody makes fun of a bald guy, but if you got a bad wig, you're gonna get shit.
That's right.
You just gotta own it.
Yeah, you do gotta own it.
Yeah.
That'll be a subject for your next video, Johnny.
Maybe.
I was solid. I'm 61. I was solid till my early to mid 40s. Like, I thought it had bypassed me.
Well, you saw how
all
much
of a
hair I
sudden-
had, and look at this picture. Look how much fucking hair I've got.
Wow.
Yeah,
I'm loaded.
You had a good head
Mad
of hair, my
glasses, the
friend.
whole thing.
It was a good
Yeah.
run. It's
Yeah,
a good run.
it was a good run.
Dave had luxurious hair that David
did.
Copperfield, the magician, would be proud of.
I did.
Nice.
I sported a mullet for a little while.
He
I
had
have
a
to
mane,
admit.
yeah.
As you
Yeah.
should. You
That's
know,
right.
Why not?
If you could, you should. That's
Yeah.
right. That's right.
Johnny's coming to us from the West Coast,
Yes.
where it's all happening.
That's what they tell me.
Now, where
Dreamboat
are you
Man and
specifically?
The whole thing.
So I'm in just outside of Palm Springs, California. So it's about 2 hours away from LA, depending on the
Yep.
traffic. But
Are you Palm
yeah.
Desert or somewhere else?
Okay, so you know the area. We're actually in Desert Hot Springs, so that's just north of Palm Springs, kind of the
Okay.
poor man's Palm Springs, as we say. But it's beautiful out here. You know, it's great. It's
You
the
got-
desert. I come from
Oh.
Toronto, Canada, originally, so I
Right,
get the
right.
New Jersey kind of weather. It's just doom
Yeah.
and gloom all the time. So this has just been great. Like I love it out here.
Oh, good
It's-
for you, man. So you're near
Yeah.
Joshua Tree.
Yes, yeah, we're
I
right on the edge of
love
town.
Joshua Tree.
Yeah, I'm 20 minutes away. I go bowling up there, Yucca Bowl. So you know.
I saw the bowling. I saw a bowling pin back there. So that's
That's from
yeah.
Yucca Bowl, yeah.
There it
It's ironically, yeah.
Oh, that's great. That is. It's spiritual. It's beautiful out there.
It is. It really is.
It's like a Mars landscape, or like the moon. Those big rocks that look like gigantic pebbles.
Totally.
Yeah.
Totally.
Yeah.
I love it. It's magical for sure. I never
Yeah.
get sick of it. I wake up every morning and there's not a cloud in the sky, and I'm just like, oh,
Yeah.
I'm so grateful. You know.
It is a special. You're lucky. That's a very special place. It
And
really
for
is.
Yeah.
those of you that don't know, he doesn't take the videos in front of that glorious background. He does them in his car
Yes.
That's right.
Yes.
with a cup of coffee.
I almost did this video in the car, and I was like, oh, when I put it this way, I was like, nah, I won't do them dirty like that. So
Well, that's right. It's afternoon for you too.
yeah, different time.
Yeah.
We've
Yeah.
had people come on the show from the road, from hotel rooms, and
Nice.
whatever they can,
Right
um,
on.
and they're
from
and they're-
prison, or maybe not that.
and their man caves.
Yeah. Nice.
So I saw you had a couple of gigs in Disneyland, right?
Yeah, we played Disneyland. I mean, that was a while ago at this point, but yeah, we played Disney. We just got back yesterday from Florida. We had our first shows in Florida. Yeah, and we're going to Connecticut on Thursday. We've
You're
been
coming over by us.
bouncing been bouncing all over the place, different time zones. I don't even know what day it is right now, as I'm sure you can understand.
So
But,
it's
yeah.
the Dream Boats, correct?
Yes, yeah.
And it's sort of a 50s 60s pop rock kind of a vibe, and they dress up in suits and they're jumping around.
Oh, you guys look so sharp
Yeah.
in those videos.
yeah, I really enjoyed watching some of those videos.
That
Yeah.
drumstick toss.
Yeah, I mean, which one? And you know what's funny about the thing is about those drumstick tosses is like, I mean, I'm jumping right into talking about stuff,
Yeah.
but
That's
you know,
fine,
it
that's what we do.
started. Well, yeah, I mean, it started with my drumming page, which is a different page from this, and I was just filming myself all the time, and I was just like, well, what's an easy way to post content? And I was like, well, we're playing so much, so I'm just gonna film myself. It started
Yeah.
like that, and I was
Yeah.
chopping up little moments, and then I realized I had a couple blooper moments where I would like
Yeah.
spin my stick and it would drop, and then one of those
You
in
lost
particular.
your symbol.
Well, I've lost many things now at this point over the year because you know, I found out that the blooper videos would get lots of views. I had one in particular that got millions of views on all of the platforms.
Really?
So I was like, okay. So I just started getting a little more ambitious with the things I was doing at the show, and I would throw sticks. I'd throw them at other people. They'd throw it back. I would have, cymbals blowing off, a lot of blooper stuff. And it was cool because whenever I would get a clip like that, I would have great content that would get views, and it would, ultimately drive people to the band and myself. And then it looked cool at the live shows too.
Right.
I mean, sometimes the guys in the band would be like, what are you doing? I'm missing beats because I'm like busy throwing things up. But, it was cool. When you latch onto something that seems to resonate with people, and then you double down on it, it's kind of, I don't know, it's cool. So yeah, that was that. I was
We have
dropping
a
a lot of
similarity,
sticks.
like the band the cover band I'm in. We do a lot of goofy things, and we had a lot of bits, but we don't want to film it per se. I mean, unless the fans are filming it, that that bit would have to get tossed because everybody's going to know about it. Like
ahead of time.
I use marching band drums and
Yeah.
kazoos, and there's
Sure.
smoking guitars that shoot fire.
You have
and,
confetti
all kinds of
cannon.
confetti cannons, and all kinds.
Are you serious?
Yeah, all kinds of shit.
That's amazing. That's
Yeah.
so cool. I gotta dive deeper. My apologies. I want to see all of that. That sounds so
then-
great.
You might not be able to see much of it because, like I said, we don't really film any of that stuff.
Huh.
The
Interesting.
content the band puts up is just little pieces of us doing our covers and doing our thing.
Gotcha.
They're fabulous. They're fabulous.
But
But it sounds like the show though is really what you got to see.
Yeah.
yeah.
Yeah. It's not, listen, you brought up a good point. If you shoot a video of me falling off the stage, it's going to get a lot more views than me shredding, right? Any day of the week.
Depends. It depends. Unless you're a world-class shredder, it might be
Right.
tough.
People just, they want to see a show, and this is something you've covered.
Yeah.
Maybe we could talk a little bit about that. I mean,
Yeah.
you've seen many bands that this show is just boring, right? They're great players. But
Yeah.
there's it's nothing interesting going on.
Well, I mean, that's the thing. I was talking with someone yesterday about the same thing, and they were in a different line of business. They were getting into mobile bartending. And I was like, it's the same thing with bands. It's like when you're starting out, it's like you have all of the competition in the world. Like the entry level is being in a bar band doing covers. Everyone can attempt to do that to varying degrees of being good. But you're competing with everyone at that point. It's hard to get bookings. The venues are getting hundreds of emails a week of bands saying, hey, I play in a cover band. Can we get a slot? So it's like very quickly, especially now that there's YouTube and everyone can learn how to play an instrument.
That's
like
true.
so many people are getting bands or throwing them together. It's like, how do you stand out in the eyes of that bar? How do you stand out to get someone to book you? And it's not an easy question. There's many ways you could have a shtick. You could do something interesting. You could be matching, or you could play really, really well, like better than the other bands, or you can tell them you're going to bring a ton of people. Like you got to think of something though. And yeah, it's tough to stand out, but you kind of have to if you want to have any kind of success. And I think that's in any business at this point.
Right. It is.
The most popular bands in our circuit right now, the band called the Amish Outlaws. They all dress up like Amish guys.
Nice.
They're fantastic. Suit and Mai Tai, they do like yacht rock stuff, but they have a cruise director out there and she's handing out leis and hats and this,
Yeah.
But they're musically amazing.
Both bands. Yeah, both those bands.
And then Super Trans Am, I would mention them. They do like a 70s rock show. They have costume changes. They got lighting, so they're doing larger venues, they're playing bars also, but mostly larger venues and festivals and stuff. And that's where the money is. And that's what they do full time.
But what are your thoughts on that? Because I hear that, and just because the band we're in, it's very, we were the matching suits. Our show is very, very high energy. Your band, very, very high energy. But like a lot of people online are like, I don't want to have to be all quirky and do stuff to play in a band. And I'm like, I get that too.
Yeah.
But what are your thoughts on that, on bands like having to take things to that level, to get noticed? Do you think it's necessary?
You have to have some kind of a show, something interesting. You can't stand there like a stone and play your ass off. And it just, I've seen guys do an entire gig not move out of a 4x4 area.
Yes.
And, I could give you a more unique perspective because I don't gig. So, I play a little guitar and I played in college and actually.
He's more of a spectator. Yeah.
Yeah. So when
That's
I'm going as a spectator who knows guitar, I'm not enjoying a boring band as much as I'm enjoying the Smoking Jackets, which is Scott's band, or if I saw you guys or some of the bands Scott talked about, because I still want to see a show and I'm bringing people who want to see a show.
Mm-hmm.
So, from the spectator point of view, who has a little more knowledge than the average bear, so to speak, I want to see something more, and that's important to me.
Yeah. And I mean, there is a world like I went to a concert of an original band months ago at this point up in Joshua Tree, and they were doing original music. I'd heard of them from online from Spotify, and they're called Improvement Movement. And we went there and like they weren't like matching or going all over the top. But then I was there with my buddy, and we we're just like, well, what is it about these guys? And what it was is that they played their music so well. Like there was still something there. It's like if you're lacking in the show aspect, it's like their songs were great and they just played them really well. Like their guitar player was just like a joy to watch, and the drummer was great, and they all sang. So even though they weren't all like, it's like,
Wait, how is that? How are they?
robot.
He does that to me all the time, Johnny, all the time.
They were just like that.
I
Okay,
have to sit on my hands sometimes.
yeah, I know I'm Italian. I can't help it. But yeah, so it's like you got to have something at the end of the day. And I think for all the people out there who are like, you don't need to match, or you don't need to have some kind of shtick. It's just like, then you got to have something. You got to be really tight with the songs. You got to at least play, especially in a cover band, you got to at least play those cover band songs better than the other cover bands in your area. Or it's like, why should anyone come out to
or add your flavor to it, which we talked about in the last show.
Yeah.
Yes,
Or,
flavor.
Or so
Your
you
take on
have,
it.
we did a whole Van Halen tribute show, right? And they had a lot of shtick with David Lee Roth. Who's coming to mind right now? John Mayer. He's got no shtick.
Yeah.
But holy shit, can that guy play?
World-class musician.
Right. So he's got zero shtick, but he's just really, 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 really good. And that's his thing.
And that's the thing. It's like a lot of people will, like, especially on my videos, they comment, and I'm like, yeah, you got to have an image. You got to be intentional with your look, with your songs. You got to be well rehearsed. And then people will come up and always comment like, well, what about this band? Or what about that band? I'm like, you're talking about, like, you can't compare yourself to John Mayer. Like you can eventually if you're really putting in that time, but you can't compare yourself to like some of these world-class songwriters. People are like, well, look at Oasis, they don't move. I'm like, yeah, but they have like arguably the biggest song of all time. Like, how are you? They don't have to move, like I don't know what to tell you.
Squeeze, to use a more dated reference.
Sure.
Or Steely Dan doesn't move on stage.
Yeah, but they're writing they have like timeless American songbook like classics, and like you got to work to get there. You got to be working on your songcraft if you want to get to that level where you don't have to move on stage, but just some people don't put in any effort, and they're wondering why they don't get booked or they don't get calls back and their photos look like every other band. It's just like, it's hard for a booker you got to give them a reason to want to book you. And I think people just miss that sometimes, they're just too into it. Yeah.
Anybody that hires bands will tell you, like, what's different about your band? Why should I hire you? You can give them the old asses. Well, we have a big following and we're going to have a lot of people coming there. And then you say, okay, well, I'll tell you what, we'll give you a percentage of the door. And they go, well, and all of a sudden their story change. Oh, so you don't have a following? No, we do. But I mean, I don't know how many we can really bring.
Right.
They start, because it's, in order to get the following, you have to be interesting, right? So it's like,
I know. And I, like, I'm sure you can imagine, like, I just get so many DMs from people, and I get it because I've, been there, and people are just like, how do I get people to my shows and how do I get booked? And I'm just like, I hate saying it, but I'm just like, you have to give people a reason. And it's like, there's no just straight answer. Like, you have to figure that out for yourself. What makes your band different from all the other ones? If you're an original, if you're a punk band, it's like, I think so many people get into different musical scenes, and then they just kind of, they become the cookie cutter of what a band in that scene should look like. Right, and I'm just you gotta bring at least one little new flavor into it. You can't just be a carbon copy of the other bands, or it's like you're not doing anything new. And that might fly to like just maybe get you on a bill or be an opener. It's like, oh, they look like a punk band, they sound like a punk band, cool. But like, how do you transcend that? You got to bring some new flavor in. It's either got to be something with your stage show, or it's got to be the way you look, or it's got to be like a new flavor with your, like, maybe you have a different guitar tone that punk bands don't have. Maybe you got like a sitar in there. I don't know, but like, you can't just be a cookie cutter thing and then wonder why you're not standing out if you look like everyone else.
Right.
It's hard when you're in the thick of it. It's hard to see that. Sometimes you need to like, and like really be like, oh wait, like this picture of us against the brick wall looks like every other band, it's like, and I've done it. How many of those photo shoots I have, the brick wall, the train tracks, like, it's just, I've done them all.
And I love that. You're making me think, I'm thinking of like you can have a band where one guy dresses up like Johnny Rotten and the other guy Ravi Shankar, right?
Yeah, sure. Sure.
You've got a sitar going on, but you're playing Anarchy in the UK.
Yeah, yeah.
That would work. That would be a good mashup.
Hey, there's so many bands with that. Like, I always think of the first band that came to mind. This was maybe about 10 years ago at this point, but there was a band. They were called Oakley Dokley, and they all dressed up like Ned Flanders from The Simpsons. Do you know who I'm talking about right now?
Yeah, yeah.
And they were like a hardcore band, but they all looked like Ned Flanders. They all wore the exact same thing. They all had the circle glasses, and it was great. And I remember seeing that, and I was just like, I'm not even really into hardcore music, but I checked them out. And when you go to
fabulous.
And when you talk about like the why, it's just like, well, the why is because I was like, oh, these guys, that's so niche. Like, that's a deep cut to dress like Ned Flanders and call your band Oakley Dokley. Like, that is enough for me to be like, what is this about?
I gotta see this.
Oh, you gotta cue the picture in post, but like, you'll see what I mean. And I think they're still around.
Black Sabbath tribute band that dresses up like the McDonald's guys, Mick Sabbath or something? It's like Mayor McCheese is
that's
out there
brilliant.
wearing all these and Grimace. They're dressed up in all the McDonald's costumes.
That's great. That's great. But I get sorry, go ahead.
It's whatever it takes, right?
Mm-hmm.
And they must feel ridiculous doing it.
Or they're having fun.
Yeah, like it depends, but I get that not everyone's on that tip. I get that people take music very seriously and other people like enjoy more of the show aspect of it.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean? And like I even did a video on this too, but it's just doing covers. Covers get so much hate and everyone's just like, you should do original music. And then I'm just like, yeah, but some people just like to rip like Van Halen solos or like just play Metallica songs. You know what I mean? And like they want to play that in front of people who love Metallica. And that's why people form tribute bands. Some people just like to be performers and like, look at me, you know.
I think a good hybrid of that, or at least the guys I know, they're doing original. Well, unless they're already getting lots of bookings doing originals. But if you're just starting out, trying out some of your originals, still sneak a few in there and do a lot of covers, or they have a separate cover band situation and they have a separate, original band situation.
I literally did a video on this today. I don't know if you saw it, but I kind of shared how that's possible. I've seen a lot of bands make that work, but
can a cover band also play original music? A lot of people ask me this question, and I've seen a lot of bands pull this off. But if I'm going to be completely honest with you, in the case of my band, I honestly believe that it held us back, or at least prevented us from getting to the level that we're at now sooner. And I guess it's a little different with my band because we do 50s and 60s rock and roll. It's very niche. And I know other cover bands that are doing top 40 are able to throw in their originals, and it seems pretty seamless. And we kind of did the same thing. Like, we had original music that was in the 50s, 60s style, and we would throw it into our set. And that kind of worked for like the bar and club scene. But what started to happen is that we were confusing a lot of people on the booking side of things. So for example, when we went over to Europe to do a tour, I was trying to get us booked at clubs, and they looked at our material online and were like, oh, this is a cover band. We do original bands only. And then it was always me convincing like, oh, but we have original music too. And then back in North America, we were trying to get into the theater circuit, and we were trying to go with that like tribute cover band angle of 50s and 60s. And they would look online and see our music videos of our original music and be like, well, is this an original band? It's like we were almost too much of an original band for the theater and tribute shows, and we were too much of a cover and tribute band for the club shows. So it was just always very difficult to navigate that. And then one day we were kind of like, let's just focus on our bread and butter and do the covers. And it was a tough decision because we had invested a lot of time and energy and money recording original songs, going to the studio and promoting it and getting like vinyl pressed. So to give that up was a bit of a difficult thing, to be honest. But as soon as we gave up the original music and went laser focused on our band and the covers that we do, honestly, things just really started to take off. We started doing conferences with confidence because we knew we were going in there as a cover tribute act to the 50s and 60s music. And like 3 years later, we're doing tons of theater gigs all over North America, paying really, really good money, and people just get what we're about. It's like the old saying, you confuse them, you lose them. And that's what was happening, at least in our case. So I'm not saying that you can't do it, but if you're hitting roadblocks and you feel like the same kind of thing that we went through, it might be seriously worth considering choosing one or the other with that band. So maybe you decide, hey, let's just do the covers with this thing and double down on it and take it as high as we can bring it. But then start another band that just just does the originals. Like, you can name it something else and have slightly different branding, but at least it's separate. At least you don't have to worry about confusing people. Now, I know people out there are going to be like, well, it worked for this band, it worked for this band, and it might work for your band too. I'm just sharing what my band went through and the difficult decision we had to make to give up the original music, to double down on our cover stuff, and finally reap the benefits and get to that next level. Anyways, that's just some food for thought on what's worked with my band. But does your cover band do original music? Does your original band do cover music? How has that been working for you? Please let me know in the comments below.
But in the case of my band, it actually kind of didn't work. Like, we tried to make it work for a very long time, and then as we started getting to higher levels, it started confusing people. You know, we were like too original for the theater tribute world, and then we were too tribute theater for like the cool festivals, club, touring Europe kind of circuit. So it was just constantly you know, convincing people. And as soon as we dropped the original music, because that was like 30% of what we were doing, then we started getting all these like gigs, and we're traveling and making good money. So, but you know, not to say that that can't work, because it's definitely worked. I mean, look at the Beatles. They started playing covers at the Cavern, had a huge following. So it's totally doable. But in our case, it was a bit of a tough pill to swallow there. For a
so
second.
I'm thinking for your branding, which I love, and I'm finding a parallel with me in my professional life. You seem to get a lot of joy out of helping those who aren't there yet get there, and I love that that's part of your branding. And but I think it's coming organically, because it's clear to me you love to do it.
Yeah. Well, I mean, it's all things like over my career, even with my bandmates, it's like there's been a few moments where other musicians ahead of us have taken the time to be like, look, guys, like, you got to get a website going. Like, what are you doing here? You know what I mean? Yeah. We're like, okay, we got to get a website. Or other people be like, look, like, I remember having a meeting one time with a guy who booked private events. And a mentor of ours connected us. We sat down with him, and we're just like, how much are you spending when you're booking bands for your events? And he was just like, yeah, we just did a band. It was 20 G's. We flew them in. They were like a tribute. And I was like, 20 G's. And I was just like,
suddenly it's like, what original music?
And I was just like, what? And if I didn't hear that from the horse's mouth, from the guy who actually booked them, like, I wouldn't even know that that's possible. So it was like moments like these little revelations where I'm just like, oh, I wish someone told us that is a thing. And so I'm just trying to do that on the channel, because I've been doing this now with this band for almost 16 years, coming in like a week, 16 years. Wow. And it's just like, I've learned so much, and I'm just like, like, why not help everyone? Like, it's, you know, share it all.
Like, so as a lawyer, I don't do it as much now, but I ran this. So all I do is sue nursing homes when people get abused. That's what I do.
I heard.
Yeah. And, you know, I ran the circuit. I lectured in Palm Springs, actually, but I've lectured all over the country. And what I find is the act of teaching makes you better at what you do, because you have to take, like, every video you make, I'm sure you're taking the time to reflect on what's brought you the success you have. And you're sort of reevaluating your own secret sauce, and your secret sauce probably gets better by you sharing it, because you have to sort of articulate, what was it that got us that amazing gig at Disneyland? What was it that allowed us to go to to get booked for Florida? And then moving forward, you're like, oh, that's how we can get ourselves booked for my hometown of Toronto, or or something like that.
It's funny, when I saw you guys standing in Disneyland, I go to myself, if I was the guy booking bands for Disneyland, you guys were a no-brainer. It's like, it's safe, it's fun, it's not threatening, you know. And then that brought me to another point where, you know, if you're in a band, you don't want your band members like posting political stuff or racial stuff or anything controversial, because that affects your brand, right?
Yes. Oh, totally. Yeah, 100%. And especially at a place like Disney, it's like they're running a tight ship. It's like you got to be on your A game. You're getting escorted everywhere. Even after the show with fans, it's like you're G-rated the whole time. You know,
right.
But yeah, you know, it's and even Dave, to address your point, it's like I know now I feel accountable, because everything I say here, everything I preach, it's like, it's all stuff I believe it, but I gotta live it too. And there's been times when I've played shows and other bands like are on the bill. It's rare, we don't normally play with bands, but they're just like, oh, I watch your content. I'm just like, all right, I gotta be on.
I think
And I try to always be, but it's just like when you know someone knows what you're about, it's like that's why it has to be genuine. You can't be saying things that you don't actually stand behind, or else you're just being a hypocrite at that point. And so everything I say, I believe in. And that's so cool what you were doing, Dave, too. I mean, that's great work, you know.
Well,
yeah.
I think, and the teaching part resonated when you know, there's so many people whose shoulders I stand upon for what I do. There, I could name the greats. You know, there's some greats about a half generation older than I am who paved the way for us, who try to do hopefully some really good work for vulnerable people.
Yeah.
And you know, I've probably given 30, 40 more than that attorney lectures, just helping the younger attorneys figure this stuff out. But you
And
know,
why do you do it though? What made you want to do that? What made you want to give back?
It feels good. First, I was invited to do it, and I have to say, I had imposter syndrome when someone asked me, you know, to tell other lawyers how to do what I do. I just thought, who the hell am I to, you know? There was all sorts of insecurity floating around, and then I did it, and I thought, holy shit, I have some good stuff to say, and then it felt good to share it. Every time I gave a lecture, I exited it better at whatever my topic was because I had to research it and think about it. So I exited every time I did it. I think I grew as a person and as a lawyer. And I'm positive that for you, the same thing's happening. You know, as a professional business person, musician, or musician business person, you know,
Yeah.
I bet you're growing every time, you know, you do one of those on some level.
Yeah, and I mean, yeah, no, I feel the same way as you. And it was like my whole goal. I started the channel only in January, and I was just like, I'm gonna post every day, and I haven't missed a day. And yeah, in doing that, you learn so much. And you know, I think I'm a big follower of Gary V. I don't know if you follow Gary V or know
Oh
who
yeah,
that
he's the
is.
guy with
He's from New Jersey.
Yeah, he has like, doesn't he now promote some kind of like, he sells liquor or something like that?
He did. He had a liquor
Yeah.
store. His family had a liquor store, but now he's a big entrepreneur.
Yeah,
And
yeah.
has a
He
whole
has that
bunch of different
distinctive
things.
voice too.
Yeah, and
Yeah.
his whole thing, he's like the goat of content creation, and he's just like essentially in today's day and age, it's like you're either talking about what you know or kind of like what you're going through. So I think with the imposter syndrome, I just tell myself like whatever I'm saying isn't always like the word. It's just something I've noticed or something I've
Yeah.
learned or something that's worked for me.
Right.
And I try to preface it with that, or at least say it at the end of the videos, you know, because it comes across as sometimes gospel, but I'm not like, I'm not saying it has to be that way. It's just things that have worked for me. It's like,
Yeah.
you know, I've seen bands that dress a certain way that just wonder why they don't get gigs. And then I just say that, and people are like, no, you can wear sandals or you can wear shorts. And look, I'm not knocking it. Some bands do. It depends.
Yeah.
But if you're trying to be a certain kind of band playing like corporate events, it's like you can't wear that. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So it's just things like that. But I think that's how I've currently been able to combat the imposter syndrome, is just doing stuff that is fact, that has been what I've learned.
Yeah.
And that way no one can say anything. You're just like, well, it worked in my case. You know?
I was lucky that my father was a drummer and professional
Nice.
magician. No, he didn't do magic tricks. He was a musician and a drummer. And he, you know, along the way, I was lucky that he would tell me things and teach me things. We did a whole show called The Band Amendments. And my father, when he was
That was
alive,
such a fun show.
you got to see it. I'm happy to say that he did get to see it before he passed away, and he loved it. And he goes, that's a really good thing that that guy said. Like, you said it, Dad. You're the one who said that. Oh, I did.
That's great.
Yeah.
Don't join a band where the guy names the band after himself. It was one of his band members.
Hey, sure.
He's gonna be an asshole. He's gonna be a controlling asshole.
Hey, that's not a bad.
So whenever
thing.
I see the Steve Miller band or
Yeah,
the
right.
something such band, I'm like, oh, that guy's got to be totally pulling the strings and calling all the shots.
All right,
I don't think you're wrong.
I have I have a question out of left field. All right. So on my reels today, the one and only Prince, one of those videos where he's playing basically a bass solo. That video is making the rounds.
Yeah, I've seen it. Yeah.
And if you closed your eyes and didn't see Prince and just heard that, would it be really good or would it be great? Because I watched that And I'm like, all right, he might be my favorite guitar player. I mean, there's others too. And then I'm looking at that. He might be my favorite bass player. And then if I closed my eyes, I think I might just say, oh, that's really good. If you don't see him prancing around, because that guy could dance, he could do everything. What do you think? If you closed your eyes?
I haven't seen the video, but I totally agree that like the brand of who Prince is gives you like a different, you're viewing that solo through different glasses, you know, and that's a great thing. I think, you know, it's like, you could say that for anyone. For Santana, it's like anyone can play a Santana solo, but it's just, it's his signature, you know.
I think what you're really saying is it's almost like an experiment. It's like seeing a performance that has no substance if you're closing your eyes. So musically it's good. Right. But then you open your eyes and you see the performance that goes with that music. That makes all the difference.
Yeah, it feels like that. Or like the other one you guys might have seen is when Prince played My Guitar Gently Weeps, and he did it with, you know, there were all these wonderful guitar players. I think George Harrison, it was either a tribute to him or he was there. I just don't remember. But, you know, I thought, oh my God, that is the most, and it always comes on my reels. Is this the best guitar solo ever? And then I'm thinking it's really good, but no, it's not the best.
It was the performance. Ever. It was way over the top. He's falling off the stage, and it's all playing ahead. And the guy's pushing him back on the stage, and he's grimacing, and he's got the guitar in the air. I mean, all that stuff. Makes. I got a great example of this. Back in high school, when I was playing drums, there were two drummers, me and another guy, that were supposedly the best drummers in the school. Okay, I felt that I was proficiently better than he was in drums.
Who was the other one? I want to know who the other one was.
You want to know that it was? I'm not telling you it was.
Oh, he was really good.
He was good. But the thing was, like, I go.
We went to high school together.
I told my dad, I'm not getting the glory here. Like, everybody thinks he's so much better than me, and I'm like, I'm telling you, it's, you know, I was very competitive then. And I go, well, what does he do? Well, he's twirling sticks, and I'm like, that's what it is. He's a better performer, not a better player.
Yeah.
And people gravitate toward a better performer. So instead of practicing drums, I learned how to twirl sticks and throw sticks in the air and do all kinds of tricks. And then I went to a drum clinic where I saw a fellow we're going to have on, Lester Merle. It's going to be coming on the show. We're going to do a drummers episode. He took the cymbal over his shoulder and bent the cymbal with his arm like this. And I thought, I could use that. I could use that. That's incredible.
Yeah. Oh, totally. And people are listening with their eyes, you know, and it's just like, you could have someone like, for your average, unless you're a guitar player or unless you're a drummer or a singer, it's like most people don't know what's going on. And it's like, how many times you see even people online who they aren't even playing anything crazy, but they're just doing it with passion and like, you know, they're just into it. And you're like, oh, it's gotta be good. You know, and but if you closed your eyes, exactly, is it? But does that really matter? That's the next question. It's just like, you know, you're putting on a performance, and I think that just transcends.
I feel like anybody's on a stage has enough chops to, you could say, okay, they're musically proficient, right?
Right.
You've gotten to a place where you're in a band, your bandmates think you were good enough to be in their band. You know, you got a gig and you're playing, right? You must have some proficiency in your instrument, right?
Sure, and then you look at bands like even the Ramones. I love the Ramones. And it's just you had when Marky Ramone came in, and I guess you replaced Tommy Ramone, the original drummer. Correct me if I'm wrong, but like Marky Ramone kind of had to dumb down his playing to like fit. Like he's like, well, the Ramones drumming is like this, you know what I mean? And it's just like he's not doing anything crazy, although he kind of is when you actually analyze his technique. But it's just like, you don't have to be like this proficient, you know, person. It's just your attitude and your look, and your just so many things come to play. And
that's what the average person that goes to see a show is looking for.
Exactly.
They want all the bandmates to look like Howard Stern.
Yeah. The Ramones on Howard Stern, that's like a great episode. I don't know if you've ever seen that, where they all hate each other, and it's just and Howard Stern is like, why aren't you looking at, you know, Johnny? And he's like, it's hilarious.
They did all hate each other.
Yeah, it's sad, but they made it work. Dysfunctional.
They're all deceased now, I think.
Yeah, except CJ, the late edition. I think it's just and Mark. I'm sorry, what am I talking about? Marky. Yeah, all the original guys though. Yeah.
They're all gone, right?
Yeah, I believe so. Yeah. Except Marky, but
I think that might have been one of Dad's band amendments. Don't be in a band with any of your family members.
Sure, that could be. Yeah.
Tell that to Donnie and Marie.
Yeah.
Well, yeah, and just business in general, it's tough. And
Yeah.
even us, we're all friends. We all live together. Like that's why I'm always filming in my car, like I said. But we all like someone's in the room next to me, someone's across the hall, and we just moved the whole band into this house. And it's like, when you're living with your bandmates, it's like you're not just showing up to the show and playing. It's like, no, we're around each other,
Right.
and we're like getting ready together, and like you just our break is like when we're on the road and we get our own hotel rooms. Like that's that's like when
Oh,
we get to
wow.
be away from each other. Ironically, it's like switched.
Now, what brought you guys to the Palm Springs, Palm Desert area?
Well, as you would know, Dave,
Yeah.
there's a lot of older people here, a lot of baby boomers. And because we do 50s and 60s music, we were getting a lot of work down here. We came for one show, Modernism Week, which is 50s and 60s art and architecture. We headlined that. And then from that show, we kept getting offers. So we were flying from Toronto, Palm Springs, Toronto, Palm Springs. And then, after the whole COVID thing, we'd always talked about it, and we had some new members at the time. They're like, what, you mean to tell me you guys could be in California and you're not? And I was like, I guess so. And
That's
so
a great idea.
we moved, and it was on a bit of a whim. We only had 4 shows booked. The 4th and final show, we're like, what are we going to do? And the next day, it was at a casino. The next day, the casino booker said they want to lock you into a residency. And that residency was once a month. It ended up lasting for 2 years. So we had this like lifeline. And I honestly believe we like willed it. We just subconsciously were like, every one of these 4 shows has to count. And that's the thing too, just with any business, and you guys know, it's like sometimes you gotta put it all on the line or really risk something. And the bigger the risk, the bigger the reward. Very cliche to say, but it's like,
It's true.
You can't just keep it safe in anything,
Yeah. A million years ago, there was a place, Sonny Bono owned a place in Palm Springs. Is that still around?
If it's the one I'm thinking of, I know the owners. We played at his house. Does it have like music notes on the outside?
I think so. Yeah.
Okay, we performed when we did a backyard party there when we first moved down. Yeah.
I visited there for years. I had a Sonny Bono mug.
Nice.
That I got in our gift shop.
Nice. Yeah, there's the statue of Sonny Bono in town. So everyone was there. And that's what's cool about Palm Springs is that, it's an older demographic, but now there's a bit of a changing of the tide. I feel like there's younger people coming in. It's really being put on the map for that 50s and 60s mid-century thing. It's a getaway for a lot of LA residents. So
yes.
I love it here. I think it's a hidden gem, especially for entertainment. Like there's a lot of room. There's not a lot of competition for us. And
that's great.
It was a good place to move to. So fun fact.
But this is like another thing, I guess, a band member is know your audience, right?
Oh yeah.
You don't want to, you're not going to bring your 50, 60 show to, I don't know, some kind of hip hop festival.
Yeah.
right.
Yeah. Or even the age demographic is like, we're always trying to figure out how do we connect to younger audience. And by younger, I mean like people my age, people who grew up with the 90s nostalgia movies, Back to the Future, La Bamba, Great Balls of Fire, that thing you do. Like, how do we connect with those people? Because that's how we got into it. And from our parents, of course. But now the next phase is like, okay, we got the baby boomers. That is like 90% of our crowd most of the time, not always. Yeah. But it's like, how do you get to the next people? And this is things I talk about on the channel too. It's like being intentional. It's like, what is going to connect now with people our age? And we were in the process of figuring that out. I don't have that answer yet. We were talking about it today at our morning meeting. It's like, we got to figure it out. There's a solution to that conundrum,
We're finding that the younger people are gravitating towards some of the older classic rock. I mean, as far as our content and our band, we're seeing a real mixed bag of, older people and younger people. And right, Dave, our shows are kind of a mixed bag of.
Oh, they completely are. And young ages. People, I see young people at Scott's show, and and he will grab an audience with old farts like me, but there'll be younger people there, and they will know the songs.
Yeah,
crazy.
I was just at a wedding, the 28, 29-year-olds over the summer, and all the music was music from the 80s by their choice.
Yeah,
that's what they wanted.
Sure.
And a little bit of 70s too. I forgot their song. I forgot what it was, but they chose a song from the 70s as their song. So yes.
That's interesting because we actually played a wedding. We haven't played a wedding in a very long time. We don't even like doing them, but it was just they had to have us. And it was
Right.
young people. They were in their 20s and they had us doing the music. And I was like the whole process, I'm like, we play 50s, 60s. Like we don't do other stuff. And they're like, we know. And then the event planners, I'm like, right? And they did it. They loved it. We had the dance floor going the whole time. And that leads into another thing too. I think the beauty of having like, especially with cover bands, having like a niche or a niche, however you guys say, to your band is so key because the more like laser focused that niche is, the more when an opportunity comes up for that, you're going to get the call. And, we were saying if you're a cover band playing the same songs as everyone else, it's like you're a small fish in a big pond. But if you are like, if you're doing, I don't know, like name like a very obscure genre and you are the band that does it. Right. It's like whenever someone's hosting that obscure party, you're getting the call. Like they're searching that and you're popping up. And that's why I feel like the niche is key. And that goes with content. That's even my content online. It's like, I know there's Bacon's Bits who does, a lot of music content, a lot of people like with the cigar, but mine is kind of like cover band, a little more oriented. So it's kind of niche, and I don't think anyone's talking too much about the cover band. So it's all about,
I love it. I find myself yelling at my screen or my phone. Yes, preach it. God damn it, the guy is spot on.
Yeah.
I'm glad to hear that. And it seems like, a lot of people can relate, which is good. That means like, okay, even for me, I'm like, okay, I'm not the only one, who thinks that that's crazy.
I mean, I think literally any cover band I've ever been in, we kind of, now I'm thinking of it, we kind of had a niche. I was in a band called the Roustabouts, which was like a 50s oriented band.
Nice.
And it was in a band called Go to 11, which was all heavy.
Nice.
I heard you once ripped off a band's named John Doe and the Generics.
I was in John Doe and the Generics in college.
That's great.
Because I had to play the pharmacy ball and I needed a name for the pharmacy band.
That's awesome.
And he stole my name. That was my band.
Yeah, so that was
without telling me.
Nice.
It's one gig. I'm going to use the band name, and I drew a big logo with a pill. Like so promotion is another thing we could talk about, right? Like
sure.
Logos, promotion. Now with AI, it's a lot easier to come up with a logo. I worked really hard to do my Go to 11 logo with a volume control and going to 11 and all that kind of stuff.
Yeah.
And images and online presence is really important now.
Oh yeah, 100%. Like honestly, one day I felt we've always had demo reels, and sizzle reels. And one day I was sitting in our kitchen. I was feeling fired up. I'm like, I'm going to do a like sizzle reel right now for the band, like a demo reel, but like next level. And I've done videos on this too. And I literally went online to another band. They're a yacht rock band as well. They're called Yachtly Crew. They're like one of the biggest.
Oh, I love that name.
Again, the name is huge.
Yeah. And I remember seeing their demo reel and we kind of emulate ourselves. We kind of try to take some of their good ideas. And I looked at their demo reel and I'm like, this is great. So I literally went online. I ripped it off of YouTube. I pulled it into Adobe Premiere. And then I was just like, okay, whatever scene is happening in their demo reel, I got to find the equivalent that we have. So if it was like a newsreel, I'm like, threw in a newsreel. And then if it was like live footage, boom. If it was interview of them, boom. So I kind of mapped it out and that gave me like a nice foundation. And then I started trimming the fat. So I ended up coming with this great sizzle reel. You can look up the Dreamboat sizzle reel.
I watched it this afternoon.
Yeah. And so that was based off of Yachtly Crew. If you look at Yachtly Crew sizzle reel, you'll be like, oh, this is the same thing. But you would never know that. And that video alone has gotten us so much work because we feel like we can play that thing with confidence to anyone. Be like, hey, here's our band, boom. And we're just like, I got nothing else to say,
you know exactly what the band is about and what their focus is and how they're going to be on stage and that they're energetic and the song choices. You're 100% right.
And that goes a long way too. People are like, how do I get booked? And I'm like, you got to have the back end dialed in. Like you got to be able, if someone is just like on a whim being like, oh, what's your band about? You got to have something ready. You got to be able to whip out your phone and go to a pinned post and be like, oh, check this out. Or like, oh, just go to our, like, it's got to be quick. The more steps, it gets difficult. It's, and it's even like you guys on your YouTube page. It's like, it was pinned for me at least, where you guys have the welcome video, the two of you. I'm just like, oh, it's great. Because I was researching the channel. I'm just like, oh, nice. I get made it easy.
That's when we
you
were in
know?
our big fancy schmancy TV studio.
Yeah, it just looks pro,
Yeah,
and
yeah.
it sets you guys. You're viewed in a certain light, like right off the hop, and that's what image, branding, logos,
Right.
photo shoots. It all comes into play when you're trying to get work.
Yeah, absolutely.
know?
And Tom Janarone, our friend Tom, who said he saw your video moments before we were going to tape tonight, my
Yeah.
drummer of the Smoking Jackets. He likes to say he gets hundreds of videos and requests a week for his bars to play, and he gets videos with nobody in the crowd.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Send me videos with people in the crowd, or if there's nobody in the, make it look like there's somebody at the
Right.
gig.
I know. I mean, you could argue like if you're trying to get
Zoom
bar,
in.
if you're trying to get bar gigs, it's like just get tons of bar footage of you ripping it up to a crowd in a bar and then send that to other bars. It's like that's how
Right.
you get bar footage. It's like fishing. You want to be fishing with the right bait. You know what I
Yes.
mean? It's like it's hard to try and get into a theater where you're showing bar footage. You know
Right.
what I mean? And it's just like I don't think people are really thinking in like putting themselves in the shoes of the booker of the place they're putting in. If you're trying to
Right,
do like,
right.
a festival, it's like you might want to have some festival footage. You might want to let them know it's like, look, we've done this before. We're not newbies here. You know what I mean? And I think it's a good analogy. It's like fishing. You got to know who you're
I
trying
like
to
that
attract.
analogy a lot. Yeah. The right
Yeah.
lure.
It's
Yeah. Yeah.
The metaphoric lure, right?
Yeah, the worm. Exactly. What
Yeah.
kind of lure are you
You think
using?
most musicians and artists are good at their craft and their artistry, but they're not so good at the business side.
100%, 100%. And there's nothing wrong with that. It's like I think it's just a way people are wired. It's difficult to do the business thing. I've always loved doing that. So I don't know if that's just I'm lucky or if I just it might not even be that I like to do it because a lot of the stuff I handle I don't like doing, but it's almost this like next level thing of like I just want everything I'm a part of to be great.
You
So
talked
it's just-
about it in one of your videos. It's like the fun part is the playing part. The rest of but 90% of being in a band, a successful band, is all the background shit you got to deal with.
Yeah.
Yeah, and
The
it's like if you don't
bookings
want
and
to
the logos and the promotion and the ticket sales and all that other shit and the
Yeah.
and getting along with your bandmates and don't say anything stupid online or
Yeah.
whatever it may
Right.
be, right? That's so much of the work, right? And going up
Yeah.
and playing is the easy part.
Right.
Yeah, and if you're not prepared to do that other stuff, it's like, what are you doing? It's like saying you want to be a hockey player and you don't want to learn to skate. It's like
Yeah.
you gotta kind of learn the fundamentals like to make the thing go, or you have to be content with just playing the bottom rung tier. And there's nothing wrong with that. I think that's great for hobby musicians. Like genuinely, I don't think there's anything wrong with that. People playing for free, everyone's
Yeah.
like, oh, too many people playing for free. I'm just like, yeah, let them play for
That's
free.
okay.
I don't,
There's nothing wrong
just
with that.
yeah, no, there's
Yeah.
nothing wrong with that. I'm just like, if you're having a problem competing with someone playing for free and you're trying to make money, I'm like, there's something wrong there. You know what I mean? Like you should be able to make some money. So, yeah, hot take. I get a lot of backlash on that, but I just think if people are content with just playing, and some people just love doing open mics. I like even doing open mics every now and
Yeah.
then. If I can
Yeah.
come up and jam with a band and it's a train wreck, I'm like, man, I don't care. That's fun.
So I get this question a lot too, being in Smoking Jackets. We play some big rooms, Stone Pony, Atlantic City, and even MetLife Stadium.
Wow.
They're always asking me, how did you book those gigs? How did you get those gigs? Now we have booking agents. We got a couple of them. That's part of the deal.
Yeah.
But you got to be the right fit. You got to give you got to give them something too. They're hiring you for a reason,
Yeah.
Yes.
Sure.
right?
I know. And it's like, and the thing is, you might not on paper be the right fit for every event, but it's like, if you really thought outside the box, it's like you could figure something out. Like for example, my band's like a 50s, 60s band. It's like, say I wanted to play like the Crypto Arena here or something. Or no, like let's say the Hollywood Bowl. Let's say they were doing their 100-year anniversary or whatever, and like happened to
They
fall.
just have that, right?
Or this, or what?
Yeah.
Okay, this is a terrible example because it's happened not in the way I said. But imagine there was a venue and they You know, the venue was built in 1955 and they're celebrating their anniversary and we're a 1950s band and we have no business being there otherwise, but we might reach out and be like, hey, notice you're doing this. Like, how do we do a tribute to, you know, there's pathways into things. I think if people really wanted something to happen, like I did a video on this too, is like, there is a pathway, I believe, to anyone playing like Coachella, for example, if you really like worked back, like, you know, set the goal and then you're like, well, what has to happen here?
You're talking about manifesting,
work back schedule, and then actually like doing it, having the discipline to like actually just getting the work done. And that goes to what you were saying, is that there's a lot of work that needs to get done to hit certain goals. I think people are pretty naive to think that things should just come to them. As you guys know, having businesses, it's just like nothing comes to you.
How can I get, Scott, how can I get into the Stone Pony? Oh, let me see your what kind of band you have. Oh, here's a sample of my band. And the guy's like, like, no, they're not going to put you in there. Heavy metal.
I know.
You're that's not the venue for you.
And
know
you question
your audience.
And you question their their
Why would
integrity.
You think that my band and your band could be in the same venue? It's not going to happen.
No. And you know, you said it, Johnny, like every day you have to do things with intention, right? And one of your videos, I brought a prop for today. So you showed in one of your videos that book, that big book that you write in. Here's mine. Every day of my fucking life, I have a to-do list.
Look at you nerds. Holy shit.
We are nerds.
I love it. I love it. I love it.
Yours looks neater than mine. But every day of my life for the past many years, I write down every single thing that I want to accomplish. And I will approach my day with intention.
I'm not going to lie, guys. Mine's in here.
Hey.
And that's a good way. That's a great way to do it. It's whatever works for you. For me, I like, you know, I have a digital calendar and all that. But to me, having something tactile is good for me. But my favorite thing is when I get it done, I scratch it off. I just put a little line through it.
That feels great.
Yeah, it does. It feels really great. And what it means is that I now have, because I probably have 7 or 8 of these filled in every single page. Yeah. And I could pull out any book and say, what did I work on February 7th of 2021? And I know what it is.
Wow.
Yes.
You know, and there's something nice about paging through it. If I'm running out to go, if I want to do errands, and a lot of the things on my list are errands, I'll just rip the page out.
And what you won't find in that book is get a haircut, right, Dave?
Hey,
no,
I cut my own. Yeah, I cut my own.
We cut our own.
I have a little back here. Here.
But I mean
that's cool. That's very cool.
Well, I'll just say, like, putting on a show like this, Guitar Tales, like that doesn't just happen. Like, for example, like whenever I talk to someone who's got a podcast going, I'm like, okay, someone's on that level, because these things don't just happen. And if you're episodes deep, like years deep, you got to be on some kind of intentional level. There's like organization there. There's like a drive. There's like, you know, getting things done. So that's why
we still have a list of guests of people that I've contacted, people I'm going to contact, show ideas.
In March, Scott, is our anniversary April? Isn't it April 15th?
Something like that, yeah.
Yeah, it'll be our 7th anniversary next April.
Yeah.
Congrats!
Scott
that's
sent
huge.
me an anniversary note last year.
That's huge.
He was our first ever guest.
I was, yeah.
That's huge. That's great.
I walked in. I thought it was just going to be like somebody's basement. I get there and there's a 3-camera HD shoot with light and a state. I'm like, what the fuck is going on here? Then I suddenly got nervous. Like, why do you want me on this show? This is crazy.
But he was great.
How much does this cost? What are you doing? You know. And then after COVID, we got out of the studio because of cost restrictions and stuff, and just started doing it online. And it just turns out, like anything else, content is key, and it doesn't matter where you shoot your videos.
Exactly.
You're in your fucking car.
Yes.
Yeah, that's right.
Prime example.
But followers.
But that's so great. Congratulations. 7 years. I mean, how do you guys feel about 7 years? Like, is that crazy?
Look at this page. It's loaded with videos on Instagram, and he's drinking coffee, Tim Hortons coffee.
I got the Timmys.
You're very loyal to your roots, huh? With the Tim Hortons.
When I'm in Canada, I do the Timmys.
You got to get a coffee sponsorship.
Maybe one day. And you know what's funny? Let me just say this. I'm gonna be real with you and vulnerable. Is that I'm down here on a visa, a performance visa. So I'm only allowed to work for just gig related stuff pertaining to my band. And with this channel, it's like I get so many opportunities to monetize,
Right.
and I can't do it. And
Really?
I can't do it legally. And it's the craziest thing because and not that I even needed to, but I'm like, you think about it. I feel like at some point I had wanted to do that, but it came a little sooner. And I'm just like, it's all about trying to find these little blessings in everything. And I'm just like, the way I've come to terms with it, because I feel like I'm being held back in many ways because I'm like, I could really take this to the next level.
Right.
But I'm just like, maybe it's the universe telling me it's not time yet, like monetizing too early would be bad, and it's just like, you gotta still work on it. You gotta learn the grind still. So it's like, I'm always trying to find reasons, like positive reasons for everything.
I got one.
What's that?
So you are the artist who is pure. In other words, your content is not driven by dollars. It's not driven by views. It's driven by the content is driven by the content. And your growth is occurring organically because you're not creating content with an eye toward monetization. You're creating content to create the best content you can. And when the time is right, you'll be at that next level and you'll do even better from a monetary point of view. But right now, there's a purity about it that you can't fully keep. Like we had Rex Armstrong on a couple of shows ago, and he was talking about finding that sweet spot between those. It's almost like you had a devil on this shoulder and then the angel on that shoulder. And he's like, I don't want to dance like a teenager just to get views, or, I'm paraphrasing. Yeah. Right now, you have the luxury and the blessing that you're being forced to be pure about it.
Yes, yes, and just give it all for free. And it's funny because I was talking about Gary V as well, and he wrote a whole book, which I didn't fully read, but I understand the concept because he's talked about it so much. It's called Jab, 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 Right Hook. The right hook is like a sale, and he's just like, you got to give free, so that when you come in with and not to say that that's why I'm doing it. I'm just saying I'm viewing it through that lens just so that I can kind of come to terms with, because it's weird. And I do things for free too. People will message me, hey, can we do a consultation? How much do you charge? I'm just like, let's just do it. Let's just hop on. Yeah. I do voice messages to people all the time.
That's great.
And I just take their time, and I'm just like, I'm learning how to get better at speaking, like you were saying, Dave, too. You just get better at it. I get better at, addressing people's issues, feeling like I can help. And it's just, you're right. It's pure. And I'm viewing it as that for now, but it is a weird feeling to feel like, even Meta is being like, hey, why aren't you monetizing? It's like telling me all the time. And I'm like, can't do it. I got to block the notifications because I don't even want to see it.
So we're coming up on an hour here already.
Okay.
So we're going to put up some QR codes here for you. There's Johnny's website.
By the way, Scott just complimented you. So don't feel like we were trying to shut you down.
No.
What's amazing is that this is one of those shows where 60 minutes feels like 5 minutes.
Oh, we could do
it in a good way.
Hours, easily.
It did.
There's so much there's so much content and so many interesting things that you talk about that we could have really went in any direction tonight.
We'll have to do a round 2 one day.
We will do.
I would love to have Tommy and him on the same show.
My God!
We got the business guy and the restaurant tour who has to hire the bands, and the guy that's in the bands and who's doing it right.
That would
be
a really nice round table.
He wasn't a fan already. He was a fan tonight.
I'd love to do that. Seriously, it'd be so great to have like a venue guy on here and just pick his brain.
Yeah, so do a round table thing.
We'll do it.
So there's Johnny's website. And of course, most of your content is on Instagram, but you're probably on other things as well.
I'm on everything. Yeah.
And of course, let's not forget about the Dream Boats.
Look at Scott's so good.
Thank you.
Yeah, you're part of the Guitar Tales family now. So, anything you're up to, we'll be promoting and sharing and liking and all that stuff and scratching each other's back. This is part of the fun things that we do.
It is.
Thank you, guys.
It was great having you on. It's almost like, you're sort of the nice version of the angry sound guy we had on. He just talked about sound issues and sound guy stuff.
That's right.
But he's angry. You're not angry, but you make a lot of sense and you have some great content.
Wouldn't it be funny if Johnny was like a real asshole in real life? He just puts on a good show.
I turn this off
How
and I'm all like yelling at the band.
You're kicking the dog at home
and
those fucking assholes.
Yeah.
So I say we close the show with the Amish Outlaws again.
Oh yeah, since we
we're
chatted
talking
about them, I'd love that.
really good cover bands. You get a load of these guys.
Sure.
The quick backstory is that not all of them are actual Amish guys. I think only 2 are actual Amish guys who defected from the Amish way of life, and now they tour the country doing their show, their high energy show.
They're all covered too.
We had Hez on the show, which is one of the lead singers hang out with us, and it's on YouTube. He did a Twisted Sister song. He was doing one-handed push-ups. He had the whole. He got anybody that you couldn't be a stone in there. Everybody was involved.
Nice.
In like 3 minutes, he got the whole place going crazy. I mean, they're just amazing performers and really super talented.
That's great.
This is Big Daddy Abel. He was the second guest on the show, which he alludes to.
All 6'7" of them.
Yeah. He's great. Great
well,
guy.
you were fabulous, by the way, and thank you so much for joining us too.
Thank you guys. Dave, Scott, thank you. I really appreciate you having me. It really means a lot. This was so much fun.
We'll have you on again. I think we have a lot more to cover.
I would love to. Anytime.
And we'll trade paradiddles.
Great. Nice, guys.
All right, man. Well, have a good night, Johnny.
Okay, you too.
Take care, everybody. And now, Big Daddy Abel, take it away.
I'm number 2. No, I was the second. That's right. I was the second one. The second on Guitar Tales, ladies and gentlemen. You're watching it right now. I'm Big Daddy Abel, the Amish Outlaws. I gotta go back to work. Here we go. Guitar Tales, watch it!